The French Bulldog is not a pet. It's a manufactured object of dependence, chosen by people who crave control over a living thing that can never escape them. These dogs are bred to be needy, to follow their owners with desperate eyes, never able to stand alone, always requiring intervention. Their existence is a daily performance of helplessness, staged for people who need to feel superior, who want a creature that cannot thrive without their constant, controlling presence. You see them dragged along city sidewalks, not for their joy, but to display their owner's power over something utterly dependent. In cafes, they sit beneath tables, unable to escape, a living prop for their owner's need to be seen as nurturing. Their images flood social media, not as dogs, but as trophies of dependence, proof that their owner is essential, that the animal cannot survive a day without them. Flat faces, labored breathing, fragile bodies, these are not quirks, but deliberate choices, made so the owner can always be the rescuer. Their oversized eyes and ears are signals of need, engineered to beg for comfort, to keep their owner feeling indispensable. These animals cannot hunt, cannot run, cannot even tolerate mild weather. They are designed to be helpless, so their owner can play savior. The appeal is not love, but the thrill of being needed by something that will never outgrow its dependence. Cartoonish faces are not cute. They are signals of dysfunction, bred to keep the owner in a permanent role of caretaker and master. This is not a relationship. It is a system of control, built on the animal's inability to survive without constant human management. Owners respond to these needs not out of compassion, but to reinforce their own importance, feeding, medicating, comforting, always in control. French Bulldogs are the most extreme example. Bred for helplessness, 30 times more likely to suffer from BOAs, most cannot even be born naturally and rarely live past 5 years. English Bulldogs are so inbred they cannot reproduce or survive travel, plagued by joint problems and a life expectancy of just 7 years. Pugs, with eyes that can fall out and skulls that cause constant pain, require daily medical care. Dachshunds, Cavalier King Charles Spaniels, Corgis, and Basset Hounds all suffer from deformities that make them dependent on constant human intervention. These breeds are manufactured to be broken, living props for owners desperate to feel needed, their suffering mistaken for cuteness, their dependence a mirror for human need for control. These animals are not companions. They are living reminders of human need for dominance, sculpted into vulnerability for the sake of ego. Why do people choose them? Because their dependence is a mirror for the owner's need to feel essential, to be the center of another's world. These dogs are small, easy to control, easy to carry, forever infants, never allowed to grow into real animals. Perfect for city apartments, perfect for those who want to nurture without ever being challenged, perfect for those who want a subject, not a companion. These are not pets. They are comfort objects, engineered to be broken, so their owner can always be the one who fixes, who controls, who matters. A French Bulldog cannot be born naturally. Their heads are too large for the mother's birth canal, a trait we have deliberately bred into them. Nearly every puppy enters the world through surgery, a cesarean section. The very first act of their life is medical intervention. They cannot be born without us. This is not a rare complication. It is the standard, the price of the head shape we find so endearing. Their breathing is another story of our design. The flat face, brachycephaly, means their airway is compressed. Imagine trying to breathe through a pinched straw. We might find these sounds cute, but they are sounds of struggle. On a hot day, a French Bulldog can overheat and die. Their cooling is severely limited. The problems extend beyond birth and breath. Their compact screw-tailed bodies are prone to spinal issues, painful vertebral malformations. Their large expressive eyes are susceptible to ulcers, infections, skin allergies are rampant, requiring special diets, and constant medication to manage itching and inflammation in the skin, folds we bred them to have. This is not a list of what might happen. This is a list of what is common, what is expected. The life of a typical French Bulldog is often a life of chronic medical management. Vet visits, pills, special treatments. The dog becomes a patient. The owner becomes a nurse. The animal's body is a map of our aesthetic desires, with points of pain and dysfunction. They cannot survive in the wild. This is obvious. They can barely survive in our homes without vigilant, often expensive support. We have bred them into perpetual infirmity, dependent on human systems from first breath to last. Why then do we choose them? Why do we seek out an animal that requires so much of us? The answer may lie not in the dog, but in ourselves. We live in a world that demands independence, to be strong, to be self-sufficient, to manage on our own. Yet we have a deep, often unspoken, need to be needed. A dependent creature fulfills that need: food, comfort, even its very survival. Caring for a French Bulldog is constant nurturing. We are their provider. We are their protector. We are their lifeline. This role can be deeply satisfying. It gives us purpose. This can feel like emotional support. So who is supporting whom? Our role is active: managing their diet, scheduling vet appointments, paying medical bills. Their dependence makes us feel essential. The appeal is also control. A French Bulldog is not a wolf. It won't challenge our authority. Its limits keep it manageable. It can't run away effectively. It can't survive without us. Safe, predictable companionship. The dog becomes a vessel for our emotional needs, but this can hide the animal's reality. Evolution is a process of adaptation, favoring survival and reproduction. In nature, an animal that cannot breathe properly, give birth on its own, or regulate its body temperature, it would be a dead end. The French Bulldog is an evolutionary dead end we keep alive through artificial means. We replaced natural selection with aesthetic selection. We became the arbiters of success, with no regard for health. What right do we have to create generations destined for compromise? We are actively creating the need and fueling the market. Others manage the consequences. We normalize inheritable disorders for a look. Breeding to swim well is not the same as breeding a skull that prevents breathing. We shaped a physically defective accessory, a vast, uncontrolled genetic experiment on sentient beings. To love an individual French Bulldog is not unethical. Caring for its needs is compassion. The dog is not the problem. The failure is in the making, and our demand. The choice, as always, is ours.